make my statement. The speaker smiles and says, I cannot do that. Come and have a cup of tea with me. Right? So this is the whole drama that is being orchestrated to defend the Prime Minister from the simple question. Whose 20,000 crore rupees, whose $3 billion went to Mr. Adani's shell companies?
हाँ जी मोहित, एक मिनट सबको मौका मिलेगा।
राहुल जी, मोहित दुबे हूं मैं। मेरा सवाल ये है कि आप शहीदों।
By the way, sorry, I just need to finish that. I left out a part. Look, I am here defending the democratic voice of the Indian people. I will continue to do that. I am not scared of these threats, of these disqualifications, of these allegations, of these prison sentences. I don't care. I'm not scared of them. Okay? These people don't understand me yet. I am not scared of them. They are used to everybody being scared of them. I am not scared of them. Right? And I will continue to ask the question. What is the Prime Minister's relationship with Mr. Adani? It is an old relationship. It is a relationship that began when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. Mr. Adani constructed the idea of Resurgent Gujarat, organized all that. This is a partnership. It's a close partnership. I'm going to keep asking that question.
राहुल जी, मैं मोहित दुबे हूं। मेरा सवाल यह है कि आप शहीदों के परिवार से आते हैं। आपकी दादी भी डिस्क्वालीफाई हुई, जनता के बीच गई, आप सत्ता में वापस आए। आज के दौर में राहुल गांधी भी डिस्क्वालीफाई हो गए हैं क्योंकि तमाम आपने इश्यूज को उठाया, चीन के इश्यूज को उठाया। क्या राहुल गांधी भी जनता के बीच में जाएंगे और वही वापसी फिर से करेंगे?
राहुल गांधी भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में 4.5 महीने जनता के बीच में रहेंगे और वो मेरा काम है, वो मैं करता जाऊंगा।
हाँ जी अनवर,
आज के हिंदुस्तान में जो पहले राजनीतिक पार्टियों को सपोर्ट मिलती थी, मीडिया से मिलती थी, बाकी इंस्टीट्यूशन से मिलती थी, वो नहीं मिलती है। तो ऑपोजिशन की पार्टीज को एक ही रास्ता है, जनता के बीच में जाने का।
हाँ जी अनवर।
सर, भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने आप पर ओबीसी समुदाय के अपमान का आरोप लगाया है। इस पर आप क्या जवाब देना चाहेंगे भारतीय जनता पार्टी को? मैं
पिछले भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में, आप मेरी कोई भी स्पीच देख लीजिए, मैं वहां कह रहा हूं सब समाज एक हैं, सबको एक साथ चलना चाहिए, भाईचारा होना चाहिए, नफरत नहीं होनी चाहिए, हिंसा नहीं होनी चाहिए। तो मेरी पोजीशन बिल्कुल क्लियर है। ये ओबीसी का मामला नहीं है, ये नरेंद्र मोदी जी और अदानी जी के रिश्ते का मामला है। 20,000 करोड़ रुपए जो अदानी जी को पता नहीं कहां से मिले, उसके बारे में मैं सवाल पूछ रहा हूं और उसका जवाब चाहिए। बीजेपी ध्यान को भड़काने की कोशिश करती है, कभी ओबीसी की बात करेगी, कभी विदेश की बात करेगी, कभी कुछ और बात करेगी, कभी डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की बात करेगी, मगर सवाल यही है 20,000 करोड़ रुपए, $3 बिलियन किसका था?
संजय मिश्रा।
और वो अदानी का पैसा नहीं हो सकता।
संजय मिश्रा।
आपने कहा आप डरते नहीं हैं, लेकिन स्टेट के टारगेट पे हैं और स्टेट आपके खिलाफ है, पूरी स्टेट, पूरी मशीनरी आपके खिलाफ है। ऐसे में आपके सामने चैलेंजेस बहुत बड़ा है, तो रास्ता क्या है, रणनीति क्या है?
देखिए भैया, चाहे स्टेट हो, चाहे कुछ भी हो, मैं सच्चाई को देखता हूं। मुझे और किसी चीज में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, मैं सच्चाई बोलता हूं। राजनीति में ये फैशनेबल बात नहीं है, मगर ये बात मेरे खून में है। मैं और कोई रास्ता निकाल ही नहीं सकता हूं। तो मेरा काम ये है, ये मेरी तपस्या है, जीवन की तपस्या है, उसको मैं करता जाऊंगा। चाहे मुझे डिस्क्वालीफाई करें, मारे पीटे, जेल में डाले, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। मुझे अपनी तपस्या करनी है। इस देश ने मुझे सब कुछ दिया है। शांत हो जाइए। इस देश ने मुझे सब कुछ दिया है, प्यार दिया है, इज्जत दी है, इसलिए मैं ये करता हूं।
हाँ सुप्रिया।
सर, राहुल सर, बीजेपी के जो लीडर्स आप पे अटैक कर रहे हैं उस पर आप क्या कहेंगे? और इसके अलावा वायनाड, वहां पर जब से खबर गई है, वहां पे लोग बहुत डिसबिलीफ में हैं, प्रोटेस्ट भी इरप्ट हो रहा है, आप अपनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी के लोगों को क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
नहीं, मैंने सोचा है कि मैं अपनी, देखिए मैंने कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में भी बोला कि वायनाड के लोगों के साथ मेरा पारिवारिक रिश्ता है, फैमिली प्यार का रिश्ता है। तो मैंने सोचा कि मैं वायनाड के लोगों के लिए अपनी एक चिट्ठी लिखूं उनके लिए कि मेरे दिल में उनके लिए क्या है, तो वो तो मैं रिजॉल्व कर दूंगा। उनका, देखिए बीजेपी के नेताओं का काम यही है। देखिए वो सब नरेंद्र मोदी जी से डरते हैं, कारण आप जानते हो। नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कहा कि देखिए ध्यान हटाना है। वो सब जानते हैं अदानी जी और नरेंद्र मोदी जी का रिश्ता, सारे के सारे जानते हैं क्या रिश्ता है, सब जानते हैं, मगर डरते हैं। तो अगर नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने उनसे कहा कि भैया ध्यान उधर करो, ध्यान उधर करेंगे। मगर सवाल यही है 20,000 करोड़ रुपए किसका है?
हाँ जैनेंद्र
राहुल जी पूरी कांग्रेस पार्टी, सर पूरी कांग्रेस पार्टी ये कह रही है कि आप चाहे वो गुजरात की कोर्ट ने आपको सजा सुनाई या आपका निलंबन हुआ, ये सब कुछ केंद्र सरकार प्रधानमंत्री के इशारे पर हो रहा है। लेकिन बीजेपी कह रही है कि कानून ने अपना काम किया है। तो जो ये दलील है कि कानून ने आपको सजा दी है और उसी की वजह से आपका निलंबन भी हुआ है, इस पर आप क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए लीगल मैटर है,
पर ये हुआ है।
लीगल मैटर है। मैं हिंदुस्तान के लीगल सिस्टम को रिस्पेक्ट करता हूं। मैं लीगल मैटर पे इस प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बात नहीं करना चाहता हूं।
हाँ संजीव,
अगर आपके लीगल सवाल होंगे तो आप हमारी लीगल टीम से पूछ लीजिए।
संजीव 1 मिनट संजीव।
No, look, please understand why I have been disqualified. I've been disqualified because the Prime Minister is scared of my next speech. He's scared of the next speech that is going to come on Adani, right? I've seen it in his eyes. So he's terrified of the next speech that is going to come, and they don't want that speech to be in Parliament. That's the issue. That is why, first the distraction, now the disqualification. Please don't be confused about this matter. There is a deep relationship between Narendra Modi ji and Mr. Adani. There is a question. 20,000 crore rupees have suddenly arrived in Mr. Adani's shell companies. Where has this money come from? Whose money is it? It is, some of these companies are defense companies. Why is the defense ministry not asking this question? Why is the defense ministry not asking the question? But please explain to us, whose money is this that is being spent on our drone development, that is being spent on our missile development, that is being spent on our ordnance production? Why is the defense ministry not asking this question?
हाँ मंजरी प्लीज, एक मिनट मंजरी।
सदस्यता की रद्द हुई तो उसके बाद बहुत सारे ऐसे विपक्षी दल जो अभी तक कांग्रेस से दूरी बना के चलते थे वो भी आपके समर्थन में आए। तो आपको क्या लगता है अब वो समय आ गया है जब सारे विपक्ष को एकजुट हो जाना चाहिए?
मैं उन सब विपक्षी दलों का धन्यवाद करता हूं कि उन्होंने इस बात में हमारी सपोर्ट की और हम सब मिलके काम करेंगे।
रंजीता
जिस बयान को लेकर आपको ये सजा सुनाई गई है, क्या आपको लगता है, आपको अफसोस है उस बयान को लेकर? क्या कहेंगे उस बयान पर? अब
देखिए अब ये लीगल डिस्कशन है, उस पे मैं टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता हूं क्योंकि ये कोर्ट में मामला है। मगर मैं जो भी सवाल उठाता हूं वो सोच समझ के उठाता हूं।
हाँ जी नीरज।
राहुल जी अभी कुछ ही दिन पहले लक्षद्वीप के सांसद मोहम्मद फैजल की सदस्यता गई थी और बाद में हाईकोर्ट ने स्टे कर दिया था। अभी उनकी मेंबरशिप रीइंस्टेट नहीं हुई है।
देखिए
सुन लीजिए।
हाँ।
राहुल जी सुन लीजिए, अभी उनकी सदस्यता रीइंस्टेट नहीं है, लेकिन चुनाव आयोग ने चुनाव की घोषणा करने के बाद उसे रोक दिया था। अगर ऊपरी अदालत से आपको स्टे मिलता है तो आपको उम्मीद है कि लोकसभा स्पीकर भी आपकी सदस्यता को बहाल कर देंगे?
मुझे उम्मीद में कोई इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है, चाहे मुझे सदस्यता मिले ना मिले। मैं अपना काम करूंगा। अगर ये मुझे परमानेंटली डिस्क्वालीफाई कर दें तो भी मैं अपना काम करूंगा। अगर मुझे रीइंस्टेट कर दें तो भी मैं अपना काम करूंगा। मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता मैं पार्लियामेंट के अंदर हूं या बाहर हूं, कहां हूं। मैंने आपसे कहा मुझे अपनी तपस्या करनी है, मैं उसको करके दिखाऊंगा। आपके लिए नहीं, अपने लिए।
रवि एक मिनट रमन, एक मिनट रमन।
इट इज नॉट अप टू मी, इट इज अप टू कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट कौन जाएंगे।
राहुल जी
मेरा सवाल आपके यहाँ बैठे हैं।
हाँ।
दोनों मुख्यमंत्रियों का भी अडानी जी से रिश्ता है, उनके साथ लेन देन का मामला, उसका कहा जाए धंधे का मामला है। लेकिन क्या
धंधे का मामला क्या बात कर रहे हैं?
ये धंधा रोकेंगे ये लोग? जिनके पास जो भी स्टेट का उनके साथ नाता है, जो भी बिजनेस चल रहा है, वो बिजनेस रोका जाएगा क्या?
देखिए सिंपल सी बात है, आप डिस्ट्रैक्ट करने की कोशिश मत कीजिए। 20,000 करोड़ रुपए अदानी जी की शेल कंपनीज में कहां से आए? आप इंक्वायरी कीजिए। अगर बात निकली कि हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर का पैसा है तो इनको जेल में डाल दीजिए। अगर बात निकली तो किसी और का पैसा है तो उसको जेल में डालिए।
हाँ सिद्धार्थ
सर, राहुल सर,
प्लीज मैडम, एक मिनट।
मैडम आप लोकतंत्र को समझिए। ये जो पैनिक रिएक्शन इन्होंने किया है नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने, इससे सबसे ज्यादा फायदा मिलेगा विपक्ष को। ये इन्होंने हमें हथियार पकड़ा दिया है। ये आप बात समझिए। ये मोदी जी पैनिक में आ गए कि बात निकल जाएगी, ये 20,000 करोड़ रुपए किसके हैं, डर गए, घबरा गए, इन्होंने पूरा सीक्वेंस शुरू कर दिया। ये विपक्ष को सबसे बड़ा इन्होंने हथियार दिया है
राहुल जी,
क्योंकि जनता के माइंड में अब एक सवाल आ गया है कि जनता जानती है कि अदानी जी भ्रष्ट व्यक्ति है। अब जनता के माइंड में यह सवाल उठा है कि इस भ्रष्ट व्यक्ति को हिंदुस्तान का प्रधानमंत्री क्यों बचा रहा है। यह मतलब अब सब कुछ बीजेपी के लोग, नरेंद्र मोदी जी सब कुछ इस व्यक्ति को बचाने के लिए क्यों कर रहे हैं। दूसरा सवाल, बीजेपी के लोगों ने कहा कि अदानी पर आक्रमण देश पर आक्रमण है। मतलब इनके माइंड में देश अदानी है और अदानी देश है। बात समझिए।
राहुल जी, मेरा सवाल आपसे ये है कि जब आप ये फैसला सामने आया, आपको मैक्सिमम पनिशमेंट जो है इसमें जो हो सकती है वो आपके लिए मुकर्रर की गई। इस बीच कई लोगों ने ये भी कहा, आपके पार्टी के भी एक सांसद ने कहा कि कम से कम जज को ये देखना चाहिए था कि सामने जो शख्स है वो एक गांधी परिवार से आता है। इस पर आप क्या कहेंगे? और आपको लगता है मैक्सिमम पनिशमेंट जो है आपके केस में, मैक्सिमम पनिशमेंट आपके लिए मुकर्रर की गई, क्या आपको इसके पीछे क्या कहना है आपका?
वही मैंने कहा, अगर डिस्ट्रैक्शन करना है, मैक्सिमम पनिशमेंट की तो जरूरत है। मिनिमम पनिशमेंट से बात थोड़ी बनेगी। मैं तो सोच रहा था भैया 5 साल होते, 7 साल होते, 10 साल होते, वो भी मिल जाता। मुझे क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है
यार। राजदीप,
I have only one step, and that step is to fight for the truth in this country and to defend the democratic nature of this country that is under brute. Please let me finish, Rajdeep, unless you want to answer it for me. You do that also sometimes. Yeah. So my job, as I see it, is to defend the democratic nature of this country. And I will do whatever I have to do to defend the democratic nature of this country. What does that mean? That means defending the institutions of this country. That means defending the voice of the poor people of this country. That means telling the people of this country the truth about people like Mr. Adani, who are basically exploiting the relationship they have with the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Pallavi. Pallavi. Please, 1 second. Let's go.
Look, see, these are legal matters. It makes me no difference. I told them, it makes me no difference if I'm disqualified, not qualified, whatever. It makes me no difference. Disqualify me for life. Put me inside jail. I will keep going. I will not stop.
Mr. Gandhi,
Yeah,
Mr.
Pallavi.
Gandhi, two things here. One, are you worried or apprehensive about the political relevance of, say, the opposition and the Congress
Do I look
party
worried to
post?
you?
One. Second,
Do I look worried to you? I'm excited. I'm happy that these people have given me the best gift they could give me.
and second, Mr. Gandhi, is that BJP's reaction since yesterday is that if you hadn't torn the ordinance then perhaps you wouldn't be facing the law today. Your response to that?
My response to that is that when somebody is guilty of something, they want to distract everybody's attention. Right? If you catch a thief, the first thing he says is, I didn't do it. The second thing he says, look there, look there, look there, look there. Right? That's what the BJP is doing. We have caught 20,000 crore rupees entering Mr. Adani's companies. Nobody knows whose money that is. That money cannot be Mr. Adani's money. He does not generate this type of money. So that money has come from someone. All this, OBC, disqualification, anti-national, all this is to distract from the panic that the Prime Minister is feeling. That his relationship with Mr. Adani is going to be exposed. Let me tell you, that relationship is going to be exposed. Nobody is going to stop that. It is going to happen. Because the opposition is going to press this thing until we find the answer.
हाँ रवि सिसोदिया जी को दे दो.
राहुल जी जो जजमेंट आया उसको लेकर बीजेपी ने उसको किया है कि आपने ओबीसी का अपमान किया. पूरे देश में प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करने की तैयारी कर रहे हैं कि आपने ओबीसी का अपमान किया था.
भैया देखिए, पहला आपका अटेम्प्ट वहां से आया, दूसरा आपका अटेम्प्ट यहां से आया, तीसरा आपका अटेम्प्ट यहां से आया. आप इतनी डायरेक्टली बीजेपी के लिए क्यों काम कर रहे हो? थोड़ी डिस्कशन से करो यार. थोड़ा घूम घाम के पूछो. क्या आपको ऑर्डर दिया है क्या? देखो मुस्कुरा रहे हैं. घूम घाम मैं आपको उदाहरण देता हूं. आप थोड़ा घूम घाम के निकाल नुकुल के बोलो. देखो ऐसे बोलो पहले, राहुल जी. हाँ, तो प्लीज if you want to work for the BJP, then bring a BJP flag symbol here and put it on your chest. Then I'll answer you the same way I answer them. Don't pretend to be a press man.
विक्रांत.
राहुल जी
हवा निकल गई.
राहुल जी बीजेपी के लोग बार बार ये बात कहते हैं कि आपने जब विदेश में जाके भाषण दिया तो उन्होंने कहा माफी मांग लेते. अभी कहा कि कोर्ट में आपसे कहा गया माफी मांग लेते. तो जब ये लोग कहते हैं राहुल गांधी माफी मांग लेते, तो राहुल गांधी क्या सोचते हैं?
राहुल गांधी सोचता है मेरा नाम सावरकर नहीं है, मेरा नाम गांधी है. गांधी किसी से माफी नहीं मांगता. और मैंने कहा, पार्लियामेंट हाउस में कहा कि भैया मुझे बोलने दीजिए ना, एक बार तो बोलने दीजिए. 2 बार चिट्ठी लिखी, तीसरी बार मैं पर्सनली स्पीकर से जाके कहता हूं, स्पीकर सर प्लीज, आप डेमोक्रेसी के लोकतंत्र के आप प्रोटेक्टर हैं, मुझे बोलने दीजिए. मुस्कुरा के कहते हैं भैया मैं तो नहीं कर सकता. आप नहीं कर सकते तो कौन कर सकता है? शायद मुझे जाके मोदी जी से पूछना पड़े, वो तो करने नहीं देंगे. तो मेरा जो पॉइंट है, इस देश में लोकतंत्र खत्म हो गया है. इस देश के लोग जो इनके दिल में है, हमारे दिल में है, बोल नहीं सकते हैं. इस देश के इंस्टीट्यूशंस पर आक्रमण हो रहा है. और उस आक्रमण का मैकेनिज्म क्या है? उस आक्रमण का मैकेनिज्म नरेंद्र मोदी जी और अदानी जी का रिश्ता है. वो फाउंडेशन है. मैं नरेंद्र मोदी जी पर सवाल नहीं पूछ रहा हूं, मैं अदानी जी पर सवाल पूछ रहा हूं. बीजेपी अदानी जी को क्यों प्रोटेक्ट कर रही है? आप नरेंद्र मोदी जी को प्रोटेक्ट कीजिए. मैं अदानी जी पे पूछ रहा हूं, आप अदानी जी को क्यों प्रोटेक्ट कर रहे हो? आप इसलिए अदानी जी को प्रोटेक्ट कर रहे हो क्योंकि आप ही अदानी हो. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू.
Rahul Gandhi needs very little introduction. He comes from one of India's preeminent political families. He's been a member of Parliament since 2004. He was the president of the Indian National Congress, the main opposition party, from 2017 to 2019. He comes to the UK having recently completed a 4,000-kilometre walk across India to listen to the concerns of voters in the world's biggest democracy. Very glad to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bronwyn, and thanks, Mr. Gandhi, for joining us today, and thank you all for arriving so promptly. Just a reminder before we get going that we are in Chatham House, but this event is on the record. It's not being held under the Chatham House rule, and it is being live streamed as well. If you're watching on Zoom and you want to ask a question, please put it in the Q&A box, and I will save plenty of time in the room as well to take your questions later on. But for now, let's just get straight on with the Q&A, Mr. Gandhi, and maybe we can start with your walk across India. I think it was called the Bharat Jodo Yatra, right? Is that the Unite India March? Or is that the correct translation? You walked 4,000 kilometers through 14 states, I think 146 days. You only finished in January. So why didn't you start by telling us why you did this walk and what you learned?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's an honor for me to be here. Thank you for coming. When I joined politics, 2004, the democratic contest in India used to be between political parties. And I had never imagined at that time that the nature of the contest would change completely. It was. I mean, if you had even told me at that time, I would have said that it was a ridiculous thing to say. But the nature of the democratic contest in India has completely changed. And the reason it's changed is because one organization called the RSS, fundamentalist fascist organization, has basically captured pretty much all of India's institutions.
And maybe for those who don't know, can you explain what the RSS is?
RSS is you can call it a secret society. It's built along the lines of the Muslim Brotherhood. And the idea is to use the democratic contest to come to power and then subvert the democratic contest afterwards. And it shocked me at how successful they've been at capturing the different institutions of our country. The press, the judiciary, parliament, election commission, all the institutions are under pressure, under threat, and controlled in one way or the other. So the conversation, the voice that was free-flowing, the debates, those have all stopped. Some of the biggest decisions taken, demonetization, which is demonetization of the Indian currency. We were not allowed to debate in Parliament. Right? The farmers' bills, where large numbers of farmers were out in the street, we were not allowed a conversation in Parliament. The GST, we were not allowed. When Chinese troops entered our territory, we were not allowed to have a conversation in Parliament. So that stifling made us ask ourselves a fundamental question. How do we communicate with the people of India when the media is biased, when the institutions are captured? And the answer we came up with in the Congress Party was this walk across the country, which has a tradition. The word is yatra, it's journey. But it's not simply a journey. It's a Indian idea of walking, of persevering, of listening, and of questioning oneself. And so we decided to do this. It was 4,000 kilometers. And it was quite an experience. It was a fun experience, painful at times, but we all learned a lot. And it placed on the table a different narrative of India, right? Not an angry, aggressive, violent narrative, which is currently deployed by the BJP, but a peace-loving, almost Gandhian, non-violent, open, accepting narrative. And I think that was the biggest success of the Yatra, that it clearly placed on the table a different vision of the country.
And what did you learn while you were sort of traversing, you know, the many diverse states of India, mobbed by people at different stages along the way?
We learned many, many things. Well, the first thing I learned was that listening, especially listening to people, large numbers of people, is something very powerful. And I realized that as a politician, before my walk, I was not actually listening properly, right? As politicians, we start by telling you what we think. And we have a narrative in our mind, and you know, whenever somebody says something, that narrative is shaping our conversation. Maybe we want to impress a little bit and say we understand, you know, what you're trying to get at. So that instinct went silent. It went silent because, frankly, I had no choice. One, I had a knee problem, so my mind was like trying to calm my knee down. And second, the number of people was so big that it was no point. So after some time, I just went silent and I started to listen properly. And it was a very powerful experience for me. Taught me patience. And there was huge pressure. I mean, to give you an idea, 6 people died in the walk. Many people broke their legs, arms, because there's huge pressure of people. There were thousands, at times 50, 100,000 people walking. So it was a physical experience. The other thing I learned is that no amount of exercise makes you lose weight. It's like completely a myth. I mean, at the end of this thing, 4,000 kilometers, I go on the scale and I put on 1 kilo. I mean, so I'm like, okay, so it's totally diet. It's nothing to do with exercise. That's the other thing I learned. Yeah.
And how has the walk been received politically? I mean, obviously, you did it for the reasons you said, but you're also a politician. You're seeking to win public support. There are national elections coming up in India. What's your sense in terms of how it's been received in terms of your own political position and Congress's position in India?
It's transformational.
ये नया मेंटेनेंस हेड इंडीड से हायर किया था?
नहीं सर, वो मेरे पड़ोसी का भाई।
अगली बार इंडीड से हायर करना।
इंडीड सर।
It's transformational, certainly for the party, because it gave tremendous energy to our party workers, but it was also transformational for a lot of the people who are coming. And the powerful thing about it was the physical contact and the scale of the physical contact. And it was something, you know, I've been to thousands of meetings, public meetings, conversations like this. It's a completely different thing, because when you're walking, and you're walking with, say, a farmer, or you're walking with a young woman, there's a struggle going on. Particularly if you're walking 25, 30 kilometers a day, there's a struggle going on, and you sort of are jointly going through that thing, right? So it's a completely different conversation that happens. The other thing I did, which I think helped a lot, was right in the beginning, I got the guys I work with and I said, look, what is my responsibility here, what is mine and your responsibility here? We are walking 4,000 kilometers, and that's all fine. But what is it that we will not accept in this walk? And I told them that, look, what I want, and there was a rope there. So I don't know if you saw, did you see the video? You didn't see the video?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so there's a rope there, and there's quite a lot of security around the rope. So I told the guys that, look, whoever comes into this area to talk to us, and there were 125 of us walking, so it wasn't just me. I was in front, but there was 125, and these conversations were going on with everybody. And I said, look, whoever comes in, he doesn't matter who he is, who she is, that person's got to feel at home, right? And the feeling I want us to generate is that when they leave this place, they feel that they've left home. So in my mind, it was not a political exercise. In my mind, it was a personal exercise where I was welcoming people like into this room and giving them a space to feel comfortable and talk, and also making it a personal talk, not a political talk. And we were successful at doing that because there was a lot of pressure, security people pushing and pulling. And so we created this sort of cocoon there where anybody came in, felt comfortable. And then some magic started to happen. Because the moment they started to see this, that there's this connection in the 21st century where, we're not going through the WhatsApp or we're not going through Facebook and all that. And there's this gentleman who's come here and these people who've come here and they're talking to us. Then the nature of the conversation changed completely. And most shocking conversations started to happen. Like the most personal things suddenly people were discussing with a stranger, really. So it became almost like either a friend or a brother, that was the type of conversation. So a lot of stuff came out.
You've talked a lot previously about the attacks on democracy in India, at a time when I guess there's a sense that globally democracy is under pressure. I mean, do you see any linkages there? Do you think there is some sort of global shift against democracy that's affecting or partly driving what's been happening in India? Or do you see the challenges in India as being pretty endogenous to India's particular political environment?
They're linked for sure, but each country has its own history, its own philosophy, its own way of thinking about these things. So definitely there are two sort of visions of the planet emerging. I mean, that to me is clear. There's a sort of free, democratic, open space idea, and then there's a sort of more controlled, coercive idea, and that is visible. There are some nuances to it in India, right? First of all, it's not a battle between political parties anymore. It's a battle between two old ideas of India and philosophical ideas of India, which are diametrically opposed, different. And the BJP represents one and we represent the other. In India also there's the matter of caste, right, which doesn't exist, for example, in England or the United States. It's a very particular aspect of society. So it plays out differently, but it's sort of informed by what's going on in the rest of the world.
And I mean, obviously, you're a politician. You've pinned a lot of the blame for what's happening on BJP and Narendra Modi's government. But are there bottom-up drivers, do you think, in India as well?
It's not that I pin the blame on them. It's that I feel they operationalize it, right? So they are the mechanism through which it's happening. But I said in my Cambridge talk that I think the problem, well, when we walked, we heard basically four things. Unemployment, price rise, inequality, and violence against women. Those are the broad themes that came out. But the real problem is the unemployment problem, right? And that's generating a lot of anger. and a lot of fear. And I think the unemployment problem is happening because earlier, if you look at the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, there was a concept of production in the democratic environment, right? Countries like Britain, countries like India, America, they produce things, and there was manufacturing, there was production going on. And then for whatever reason, that was parceled out to China, right? And today we live in a world where there is a production model in the coercive environment, but there is no production model in the democratic environment. So the result is that it becomes very difficult for democratic countries to give their youngsters employment. I don't believe that a country like India can employ all its people with services. I just don't believe it. It doesn't work, right? It doesn't have the connectivity, it doesn't have the structure that can deliver you those jobs. So to me, the question is, can a democratic production model be rebuilt, and what does it look like, right? And I think that's at the center of what is creating the problem. And the problem is manifesting in different places differently. In India, it's manifesting along caste lines, along religious lines.
I think we might come back to that economic question later if we have time on economic models. But obviously, the BJP would say to you that you're looking for excuses for why Congress hasn't been able to cut through. So you blame the playing field being unfair. And I guess there's certainly a point there that Congress and its coalition partners have struggled to cut through, given what you're saying about the scale of the problems that people are facing. So why do you think that's been, that you've struggled on the national stage to get that cut through? And how do you think you might be able to change that, leading up to the next national elections?
First of all, to put it in perspective, right? If you look at the time from independence to now, the Congress party has been in power for majority of the time, right? So it's not that the BJP has been in power. Before the BJP was in power for 10 years, we were in power for 10 years, right? And so it's not, I mean, the BJP likes to believe that they've come to power in India and they're going to be in power eternally, that's not the case, right? But there is